right now, palipat-lipat, ang daming kampo, ang daming colors. And kung sino yung nakaupo, di ba, you just need to, lilipat ako doon. Iba na naman yung ideology mo. There's no continuation of ideology.
Hindi ba tayo nahihiya? Na iniikot-ikot lang tayo, niloloko lang tayo? Magsalita na tayo.
Alam mo, yun ang gusto ko sa'yo eh. Your comedic timing, you're being very articulate, of course, not to mention good-looking, di ba? I mean, ikaw talaga yung perfect candidate for any position in government, not to mention that you have millions of fans, Edu. And you have become vice mayor, you've been elected, and you even ran for vice president, di ba? So you were steeped into it. Why are you now telling yourself, I'm not gonna run, when you can very well still run? And at a time when we do need, well, people who are thinking people. And we'd like to think that you're that because we see your posts.
Napapag-usapan din namin kasi yan eh. And, there's still marami ang tumatawag, nagte-text minsan, pag-isipan nyo to. And even when you see yung mga nagiging comments na maraming sabing mga posts, nako, tatakbo lang yan. So, yun nga sinasabi ko kanina, it's like the blur yung message tuloy, nawawala yung sinseridad. Or they want to think, and they want to poison the minds of others by degrading the substance of your message. So, I feel that it's best that, coming from a point of view that I have no other intention other than to send a wake-up call. We had a very good discussion the other day with somebody talked about patriotism. Malaking bagay sa akin yun, yung pagiging isang nationalist, isang patriot, because, gumising naman tayo. Matagal na tayong niloloko. Ba't naman tayo pumapayag? For a few pieces of silver, ibebenta natin ang ating kaluluwa. They may sound strong. I didn't mean it as such. But you can see how right now trolls have taken over the internet. Again, of course, ano natin bayaran?
Well, trolls on both sides, to be fair.
To be fair. But, sometimes the extent of the lies that they have to propagate at kung kanilang inuutos sa kanila sa araw-araw, we all know how it works already. Ito yung mensahe natin for the day, ha? Right. Ito itutulak natin. Ito i-build up natin yung ating kandidato. But in the absence of anything with truth that is easily accessible, if they gusto nilang malaman talaga, people would say, ganun ba yun? They'll just take it as gospel truth. Hindi na sila they will not take it upon themselves to question anymore.
How do you feel about the political future, considering what we're seeing right now? Diba? There's an impeachment trial going on. There's a flood control scam, largely unanswered. Diba? Nobody's going to jail for it. They keep saying soon, but even after the SONA, sabi si speaker daw, di ba? Pero, parang may nakikita ka ba? Because 2 years from now, actually 1.5 years, we're going to be going to the polling booths again. We're going to be choosing a new leader. We don't even know who's on the horizon. We can't see anybody coming forward as, somebody hopeful for all of us.
Totoo yan. And kaya, we both make our, try to drive across ang aming mga points of view. So we have adopted the hashtag na no color. I mean, kahit noon, hindi dapat may kulay eh. Ang importante yung hanapin mo yung kandidatong who is competent at yung karapat dapat base sa kanyang pinag-aralan. Bagay dahil doon sa mga nakikita mo sa araw-araw, how he answers questions, how he sets forth yung kanyang plataforma. I think that should be the best gauge of who would be the better candidate.
Really? But ang dami nating politicians na highly educated. Ang dami nating politicians na ang husay magsalita. I mean, these are all educated people. educated abroad. Yung sinasabi mo nga, tingnan natin, anong Paano ba nalalaman, Edu? Paano ba nalalaman? Sure, no color. Dami naman magsasabi niyan eh. No color, but who, for example now? Who? Are you seeing somebody prominent right now that could be the next one? And are you just going to sit back and say, oh, ang galing niya magsalita. Oh, ang husay niya mag-isip.
Yeah, I think we're in a really bad situation right now and too much noise, especially with all of these trolls from all camps, walang exempted. And we just wanted to have a voice that will neutralize and to speak out in a way to put sense into what's going on right now. And yeah, to his point that there are qualified candidates, but for me, the system is so broken that whoever candidate you put in there, corruption will still happen. And I think we are in this situation because of that corruption, which right now, ang daming smoke screen, ang daming palabas, and no accountability, no transparency is really being instituted. I mean, this should be institutionalized. That's why myself, has been advocating this transparency and accountability in the field and space that I know, which is technology.
Yeah.
And you fold it in the system, somehow you could minimize, and that could be the start of a long-lasting reform in the government.
You know, one of the problems I'm seeing in government right now is napakarami dyan mga so-called mga heads of agencies being put in very sensitive posts are actually a very, very bad fit. Because it's only after they get elected or they get appointed, and then people decide to do research, makikita mo, pati sa kanyang mga resume or curriculum vitae, nagsinungaling. Nag-Harvard, nag 3 years, graduate courses. But to hold a very sensitive position in government that determines the lives or influences the lives of the Filipino, you should find somebody who actually they should have what it takes for them to be able to steer.
But is it really just education, Edu?
Education is one, but then if they came in, they lied already in their resumes. I mean,
Out na dapat.
Yeah, I think that's the point there.
No,
The
because
lying, it's
the
not
lying,
actually.
and then ang sasabihin lang, ay, yung staff ko, nagkamali, nagka-entry siya. Ay, hindi ako nag-Harvard, nag 6-week course lang po ako ng leadership. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Pero para sabihin mo that you have undergone these higher learning, and then that influences people to a certain degree, at the fact, but you lied, I mean, tayo, ang dali na natin maniwala kasi. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the posts I got very, very criticized for was when I spoke about tigilan natin itong pagsasayaw sa mga kampanya. Bawasan na natin itong mga komedyante. You know, pakinggan nyo. Pagkatapos yung marinig yung kanyang plataforma, ask him, paano mo i-eradicate ang korupsyon sa Kapitolyo? Paano mo itutulak ang Pilipino para magkaroon ng mas magandang buhay, mas murang bigas? I mean, ask questions.
So they'll say, let me turn the tables around on Edu. If you were running today, how would you answer that question? Given the situation we're in, flood control, yung impeachment na nangyayari ngayon, the divisiveness that we're all subjected to. Paano mo babaguhin ang sistema as ANSES? Kailangan baguhin ang sistema. And you're a candidate.
Sad to say, if I'm the candidate, which I'm not, but sad to say, you know, I'm afraid to say this, but very, very possibly not in my lifetime, regardless of what kind of changes I try to institute or create new policies. It would be sacrificial on my part and not expect to see the gains in my lifetime.
But where do we start?
We have to start. You start the ground running. The moment you get in, wala na munang kwan. Wala na munang papogi-pogi. You got to make the hard decisions. In the case of like, you know, if you talk about the soda, it wasn't what the president said. It was what the Filipino heard that
What do
I
you
felt was more important.
Okay.
Because there was hope, okay, but there was also cynicism. You know, there was there are credibility problems, but at the same time, they also want accountability. I mean, ganda ng speech, pero may makukulong ba? I mean, there's got to be the follow-through. We can't be, hindi tayo dapat ma-mesmerize yung mga magagandang salita.
But you also heard the son of the president say, kung mag-investigate, hindi ang Congress. Kami nga yung ina-accuse Paano kami mag-investigate sa amin? So it should just be all the ombudsman daw, the work of the ombudsman. What do you think about that? That Congress right now is admitting that it is powerless to investigate
Its own.
its own. What do you think
Yeah,
of that?
but which is true. How can you investigate your own house if the crooks potentially are there? So
So
it should be another body to investigate a different house.
which the president tried with ICI, right? But it's come to nothing. So I guess parang yun na nga, ang hirap, paikot-ikot
Yeah,
tayo, no? How do you break that really vicious
To
cycle?
your question, if ever he'd run, or if ever I'd run, which I will never.
Yeah, theoretically,
A while
hypothetically.
ago, I mentioned the system change, right? The
Yeah.
entire government change. I think there should be a constitutional change.
So you
because
really-
it's ingrained in the Constitution.
And what part of the
A lot
Constitution,
of things like
form of government?
form of government, two-party system that eradicates dynasty. Because right now, palipat-lipat, ang daming kampo, ang daming colors. And kung sino yung nakaupo, di ba, you just need to, lilipat ako doon. Iba na naman yung ideology mo. There's no continuation of ideology, of beliefs
Yeah.
in the government. And ano yung talagang sinusulong nila. Because it's always personality-based. But if you have a two-party system, you maintain this, and at the same time, you minimize or kind of smoothen I think yung law natin about anti-dynasty bill na meron tayo in the House and also in the Senate needs to really be polished. Kasi doon na yun di ba? Like yung influences of different parties, different personalities result to the corruption that we have right now. If you eradicate that big thing right now, the most evil thing in the government, which is corruption, you're able to get more programs rolled out to the ordinary Filipino people. Mas mararamdaman nila na may gobyerno. Hindi katulad ngayon, parang we were talking about yesterday, right? The economy in different presidents.
Yan ang mga conversation namin. Ikaw kasi,
Under-
ay mo maniwala sa akin.
Ang taas naman
ganyan
Nakakatulog ba kayo dyan sa
Ganyan.
usapang yan?
I mean, under Pinoy, under PGMA, and then under right now, ang layo people are like really suffering high cost of like lahat ng bilihin, cost of living, ang taas din ng taxes. Pero in reality, paano talaga nila yung balance sobrang disbalance tayo when it comes to our economy right now.
Which you have just launched. Bosses na hindi
Double S.
S-E-S double S. As in para mga boss.
Yes.
Mga boss, right?
Spin-off kasi kami from Pinoy's.
Yes,
Kayo ang
kayong
boss
boss
ko.
ko.
Yeah.
So, bakit daw kayo gumagaya kay Pinoy or why are you taking off? After Pinoy, DDS naman daw kayo. May mga ganyang mga comments, di ba? Ganito na lang. So, you are part of PGMN, or at least that's the perception. What exactly is your part in the Peanut Gallery media network, which of late, of course, has suffered such a huge setback with the arrest of Franco Mabanta, who heads it. And of course, there's a big question mark
Also.
as to this extortion case, which
Question mark
to this
talaga.
day also remains largely unexplained. What is your part there?
No, if you, we also became victim of the attempt to neutralize the influence of PGMN because it was it was pioneering, it was radical, kasi kami wala kami sweldo. Walang bayaran doon.
We're guest anchors.
We're guest anchors. kung meron kang gustong sabihin, come on board. So ako, I talked about yung hindi ba tayo nahihiya na iniikot-ikot lang tayo, niloloko lang tayo. Magsalita na tayo. That was my spiel. I mean, my essay na sinulat ko. Yeah, to self-respect. At sinulat ko yan, and then sila, i-review nila. Okay, pwede to. So ikaw, bibigyan ka lang ng airtime. Pero hindi kayo swelduhan. At that's why laging may disclaimer sa ilalim eh. The views expressed by this individual is that of his and his alone. So, ibig sabihin, you're on your own. Di ba? Bahala ka sa buhay mo.
But what do you think of the perception that PGMN is critical of government?
They
exist to criticize government.
I think there's nothing wrong. I mean, public servants are there to be criticized. People have to see what they're doing, and you just have to take the good with the bad. Aside from being vice mayor, I also was with the Optical Media Board for a long time.
Right.
At comes with the territory.
Natin yun ma-apply on a broader basis, engage everyone to free speech without being harassed or judged or even being ostracized, no? And, diba?
Yeah.
Taken out of the loop.
Going back
Cancelled is the word.
Cancelled.
Going back to PGMN, it's probably na-highlight yung political, criticizing the politics right now or the politicians. But in fairness to them, they have other and varied topics that they talk about. Health, fitness, accounting, and I was talking about technology. And of course, in that technology piece, I would call out the right definition when the government would say they launched certain things in the lens of the technologies, tama ba talaga siya? So that's my only contribution there. But then going back to how people really perceive PGMN, siguro trend lang talaga yung politics, and yung iba hindi masyadong napapanood because the attention or the interest is really not there.
Yeah.
So, kaya na-highlight yung about politics. Kasi yun, talaga i-click ka agad. Automatically, may troll ka agad din nagko-comments. But to the divisiveness that we have right now, I really think this is all because of the technology boom in the social media where you and I would have different algorithms. I would be staring and scrolling on my phone for 2 hours, and I'll be convinced on a certain paradigm and belief, and I would stand by it because after 2 long hours, all of ang daming echo chambers that would support that belief, and you would have your own different thing.
Right.
So there's the default and natural division right away when we kunwari magka-encounter tayo. You talk about something, I'll talk about different thing. And then, yun, we would disagree already.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the differences will be very deep, right?
Yes.
Because you're just getting deeper and deeper.
Maraming nawawalan ng friends, family, and all
Exactly.
that because of that.
What do you do? I mean, but this is a reality we face, you know. You believe in one thing and you listen to the same people, and your friend listens to another set of people. Before you know it, talagang you're strangers to one another. You have nothing in common. How do you fix that when it's a whole country you're trying to unite?
No, when I joined PGMN, I did only one essay, one singular essay. But when I submitted the essay for the review and eventual approval, there was no marching order. Uy, kailangan pro-green yan, ha? Kailangan pula yan. I mean, no marching orders.
Oo naman.
That was clear. So we
Dapat
just
lang.
leave it. No?
Oo.
But their anchors have admittedly defined their positions. Some have said, "Oh, I'm pro Duterte, I'm pro BBM."
Yes.
You know, which is it's all acceptable to the platform. It's just that how you articulate your positions, that's what's important.
How does that check against your no colors principle kayong dalawa? I mean, how can you be part of a network that actually has anchors, and you know, when you say anchors, they're basically the face of your network, no? Who have defined themselves as for this or that.
They were more of content providers.
Yeah.
Lahat sila, walang swelduhan talaga. Across the board.
So hindi sila anchor din?
No?
Lahat
providers.
volunteers.
Ah.
Walang employee-employer relationship, no contract, no single cent given to us, nothing. Walang X deal. It's just that we
So
kami,
who vets what's true and what's not?
Yeah,
I mean, you go to news if you want to know what's factual,
They don't claim to
basically.
be a news center. It's a freedom of speech kind of platform,
But when
similar
you-
with what
yeah.
we have in the US. You just go there, talk about anything, speak your mind, and then that's it. We don't
So
censor
it's
you.
not your traditional
No,
journalism.
And people
Uh,
would
then-
appreciate different points of
okay.
view of different people.
Well, I hope this is clear to the
Yeah,
followers.
I hope.
How are you going to stand out, Edu and Anne, in this, what is it, a jungle, a marketplace? I don't even know what, a zoo?
Yeah, it's the Wild West.
Yeah, no?
You know, I guess you just have to continue to espouse the same message. You have to be consistent. People should see that you stand for something in particular, and you would hope that they would adopt the same positions. That's why hindi ho kami, we don't go after politicians. We don't. It's not personality based. Kami talaga issues. It's got to be about the issue. And if somebody has satisfactorily answered our query or our comments or our criticisms, tahimik na.
Hindi mo matanggal kasing ad hominem sa Pilipino. Eh, no?
Oo.
Yung parang, i-judge mo talaga based on what you know about them. May ginawang ganyan, kilala ko yun, ganyan nga yan dati. Wala na ako, sira na siya sa akin. Hindi mo matanggal, no? Even if he's espousing something that is largely good for the country, no? So, it's hard. But does the fact that you're not going to run again, sabi niya yan,
Sad
sabi
ka.
niya yan, ha? Okay. But assuming that you do not run again, does that fact liberate you?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
talagang
You
liberation.
can say
Oh,
anything.
you can say anything I want. Kasi, yun nga pag pinag-uusapan talaga yung mga political pundits, I think sa buong mundo, ang Pilipinas ang may pinakamarami. Bawat beer garden na puntahan mo, lahat yan. Ano ko? Kung ako yung congressman, eto gagawin ko. Ay, wala yan. Wala. Kung ako naging presidente, isang ganito lang yan. You know, everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
And so we welcome that actually. But again, the fact that yung aking pinupuntahan or the direction I'm taking is not trying to get elected in 2028, I feel that there's so much that I can do
Outside of politics,
outside of politics.
which is what you're doing now.
Yeah.
To be a voice, at least for some people to have sense. Ano?
Yeah.
But how can you have a direct effect on policy? Because that's really what we need if we're going to change the system. We're going to have to start
Yeah.
with every law that gets passed, and even with every law that's already in place that should not be there. I mean, you know, how do you do this when you're outside of the system and nobody's really listening to you, and you don't have any voting say within the halls of the non-august Congress and Senate now?
You know, sayang yung wala ko tayong mga konsepto ng mga town hall meetings dito. You know, every congressman should go down to his district. Kailangan at least once a month, mandang.
That's a good
makinig sa
suggestion, huh? Yeah, town halls.
Town hall, kailangan makinig ka. At kung gusto ko murahin ng mga tao, of course, you expect the best decorum. Pero in the event, sa galit, sa tindi, ng frustration ng mga tao, you have to see that they're very passionate about what they're sharing with you. So town halls for me very important. The congressional
Please
office or congressman's office or senator's office should have a team who do nothing but receive calls every day and they field kung ano man ang mga sentimento.
Oh, kunyari ang policy na yan, how can you make that happen if you're outside of the system? Good luck na may makinig sa'yo, Edu
But the
Manzano. Kahit Edu Manzano ka pa.
What you just said, that's not a bad idea. You know, so maybe if you share it with somebody else inside, they might say, uy, no, bakit let's try it. Subukan natin. Walang masama. So, yung access kasi after they get elected to their congressman is more than just ayuda. And it's more than just delivered ng dalawang kilong bigas. There's an actual kind of congressman-constituent relationship.
For example, you elect a representative of a district, and then once you're elected, you become so subjective to your own opinion, your vote in the halls of the Congress, and without really considering ano ba talaga yung gusto ng constituents ko. I doubt that in the recent past, mga itong voting on impeachment, voting on anti-dynasty bill, was there really a consultation of
With
the
the
population,
constituents.
with the constituents. Or sarili lang nila yon. Yun yung biases na inelect mo na siya, tapos he is his own person, not really a representative of the people.
These elected officials have to realize they're just a mouthpiece. Kung ano yung aking problema, kung ano mga hinanakit, tagapasa, ikaw lang ang magsasalita, ikaw yung megaphone. But you have to be listening to us before you can come up with your own opinion and come up with your own policy.
You know, when you go down to the remotest LGUs and grassroots, how can you two make an impact with your no collars? I mean, sa brand nyo pa lang, medyo social na, di ba? No collars. And also your bosses with the double S. How do you reach out to them if you're not in politics, Edu?
Well, amo na ang akong pirmi na ginasiling. Hinahambal ko gani sa akong mga
Correct!
ko bigla. Kamo, yung ibutohon, ay, ang kwalipikado gina.
Ayun na.
Hindi ang gwapo, gwapa ha. Hindi ang gasaot na kanta.
Pero kasi gwapo ka eh, gwapo ka. So, ang association nila with you, tsaka ma-English ka, di ba, is hindi namin siya kaano-ano, elitista siya, boss ko siya. Ano ko siya, amo ko siya. In fact, that's how they view people like you. Amo ko yung mga yan eh.
But sometimes I think there might be a little bit of an impact on them. If they see you, who's supposed to be, like say, on a pedestal or on a platform or on a stage, and you're going down to them and saying, don't vote for me. Vote for me if you think I'm qualified. Vote for me because you've seen me. I've been consistent in my positions all through my lifetime, all through my years. And vote for me if you think that I would be a good representation of your voice.
But now that you're not running, how can they vote for you?
You look for people that you can stand behind.
Gusto ko yung statement mo na people should stop behaving like fans and start behaving like citizens. How do you distinguish?
You know,
I mean, you become a fan of somebody you admire, right?
personal experience. I think, if you don't mind my saying, I thought Ibo was a great candidate. I knew him since I was a young man. Naka-shorts pa yun, kilala ko na. And I thought people may have found him lacking in some areas. But in terms of compassion, intelligence, and resolve, experience was there. I thought he would have been a candidate who we should have given more serious consideration. But that's an example of what you're saying. Matatalino, mga tama nung nasa yung kanyang puso, pero hindi nakahalan. But you can't stop there. I mean, you just have to keep on, dig and dig deep and just continue to move on. It's like Odyssey.
That's true.
I think it'll be difficult to change the culture of the older generation. Or after the younger generation who would vote for more presidents in the coming elections. And though we may not be in the grassroots, sending bigas or ayuda out there, shaking hands with people, I think what we're doing, especially in my own personal capacity, being one of the resource persons in Senate and also in the Congress, drafting bills with technology layer into it or some content into it, we're able to give more unbiased opinion in terms of all these provisions that will make sure that it'll be pro-human rights, freedom, and neutrality, especially in the incoming trend of this AI, this cybersecurity,
And
all of
Pax
this.
Silica coming in.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the continued education of people.
What's your stand on Pax Silica? May I ask you?
There are clear indications right now. The questions of how come other states and countries are actually kicking them out, and now we are like open arms accommodating it. That's one question, and it's valid, right?
Yes.
So long as, of course, there's this issue and concern on water, electricity, but the government just need to be transparent about the deal. The taxpayers need to see the contract. What's in the contract? Well, before we really conclude whether this is a go or no go.
So ang tingin mo, you don't know enough about the
Yes.
contract to judge whether
Yes.
it's good or bad.
And we couldn't be swept by motherhood statements during the SONA that it'll be good, 1 million jobs for Filipinos.
Yun yung
How could you
attraction
prove
talaga
that at this point in time?
Yeah.
We don't have the contract.
Oo.
But Annie's in tech. I am not. Actually, I'm very low tech.
No, you're antec. So.
She does it to me every time.
Galing naman,
Nakakainis
Ante.
talaga.
Oo.
It's so crazy. No, kami, from the outside looking in, the whole idea of Pacific is just it's to secure the supply chain.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
critical minerals,
Yeah, mineral resources. Yes,
infrastructure,
that's true.
AI infrastructure.
Well, so
And,
it's not a bad thing in that sense, but
No, it's not. But the way that they're trying to sell it is the part that I don't agree. When you say you're going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and then you hear another country say it's going to give us thousands of jobs, and then in the United States, from the words of their president, we're going to create hundreds of jobs. So what happened? Saan ba nanggaling yung 100,000, 2,000s to 100? It's AI. The concept of AI is to eliminate, it's cheaper labor and create also duplication. So how will you be creating jobs if the very effort of AI is to compress and make it more productive and more, what's the word they use for technology? More efficient. Streamline and efficient, make it more efficient.
So what are you saying? Na parang it's actually anti-employment in that it's AI.
It's
And
AI.
AI by its very nature will probably eliminate jobs.
Yeah. No, I mean,
It's not probably. It's doing right now in our BPO, which is
It's
should be
happening
the
already, no?
bread and butter of the Philippines, and
So,
nobody's talking about it.
Oh.
A lot of propaganda about there's no shortage or there's no down effect of AI in the BPOs. I find it BS.
so
really?
manufacturing jobs for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the sectors that will be hardest hit.
Talaga, robotics na talaga eh. We don't
Pati
need
yung
people.
pag-assemble ng kotse, robotics na ngayon.
Oo, di ba?
Taiwan is introducing robotics where they're already manufacturing motherboards with semiconductors, all robotics.
Yeah.
So all those displaced individuals, marami doon sa kanila Pilipino. Kasi Taiwan loves Filipino workers.
Oh.
Pero when it's pushed forward and its influence increases, ano mangyayari ngayon doon sa mga na-displace? So, isa yun sa mga problema natin dito ngayon. It's not only food on the table, hindi lang ayuda. Tama na yung ayuda kung mabibigyan natin trabaho yung mga tao. We need jobs. We need something that can give us more pride. And we can, may pagmamalaki natin sa ating mga anak. I don't think the Filipino is lazy. But pag everything is abot kamay, every time may konti problema, sige, let's do a smoke screen. Padalahan ng ayuda yan. And then it ends there. Then I think it's a nation. May kasabihan. When laws do not protect you from the corrupt people, but instead protect the corrupt people from you, then it's a nation doomed. If you don't mind me saying it.
Oh, absolutely agree. 100%.
Dati natatakot tayo ngayon sumigaw na corrupt. Ito, cyber libel.
Yeah.
So, that's something I feel that, we have to address.
Yeah. It's tough. Hirap maging presidente. I mean, you have to admit, di ba? Meron ba? Meron ba tayong nakikita ngayon kahit anino man lang muna?
Kahit anino man lang. But I think we should set the criteria already right now. If you don't meet the criteria, even sa 1, 2, or 3, huwag na natin pagbigyan doon. I mean, he's got to meet all 6, all 7 criteria.
So sa tingin mo, meron nun? There's one out there who will meet the 7 points criteria. But right now, we don't even have a candidate
I know.
or a set of candidates to choose from. No? But,
That's part of my prayers every day.
Ano?
Sana man lang may anino.
Oo, no?
May duman yung, sino yun? Baka pwede.
For the record, wala na, hindi natatakbo si Edo Manzano.
To be honest, I've thought about it many times. And maraming Unang-una, I've seen the changing of the landscape. Yung sinasabing mga, yung nagsasabit ka ng election-related expenses, hindi totoo yan.
Sose.
Nasosip. Hindi totoo yan. Bilyon ang ginagastos. You know, many of them are just standing there as fronts for them to sign na ako po nag-donate ng 20 million, 10 million. But those funding comes from the business sector, possibly from contractors, from other nations, you know.
Pero undeclared, syempre, no?
Being in both sides of that coin gives me a unique perspective kasi I was in it, I was also out of it.
Yeah.
So that has to be addressed, and there have to be certain safeguards put in place to limit the abuse. And the congressmen, what do? They gerrymander. Binibiyak yung mga malalaking kongreso.
Para mas maraming districts.
Mas maraming districts, mas maraming kakampi, mas malit ang gastos.
Ang dami nating districts, pero yung mayaman ba tayo?
Totoo. And the party list system should also be revisited.
I know. Yes. That's true. Oh, ba't hindi kayo magtayo ng no brand party list? Bosses party list. Wala.
No.
Not even.
No.
We just help in the sidelines.
So you're content being content creators?
No, but you know, we also go out and speak before bodies that ask, let's say they would like to hear
You
us.
do?
We do. And
So you allow yourselves to be invited and make known your thoughts.